How's it going? Freddie here. So today we're going to be starting documentation, or this is going to be like the first episode of me documenting scaling one of my clients, Annette. Annette is a new client that just joined the hands-free branding team. So, if you didn't know, hands-free branding is my marketing and sales development agency for online coaches and consultants, specifically in the business and career space. So Annette, right now, shout out to you if you're watching this, but right now her current situation is she's got no coaching offer whatsoever, only about 200 followers, and she works with nurses to help them advance their careers and get more fulfillment out of their career. So I'm really happy that she joined, because I know for a fact I'm gonna get her to where she wants to go. Right now she's got pretty much no coaching offer, like I said, and her goal is to get to 8 to 10k a month consistently within the next 3 to 6 months, which I think is more than possible. I've done it several times before, so it's more than possible. And then in this kind of series of videos that I'm going to be using to document this journey, I'm just going to be documenting every single part that I go through when I onboard a client, set them up, scale them, do whatever, and set up the entire trust-based digital ecosystem that I like to use for my clients. So this is going to be the first one. I'm going to be doing it like my day in the life type content. But this is the morning right now. What I usually do in the mornings, I like to start my day with a few sprints on an empty belly, no water drank or anything like that. I just like to sprint a little bit, gets my body really fired up and started for the day. But I'll start off after that. Okay, so just finished my my morning workout, had my electrolytes, had my breakfast. So now I'm just sitting down to get started on properly onboarding Annette. So essentially, Annette is she is booked in her onboarding call already, which is good. So as soon as someone books in an onboarding call, I immediately get started with adding all the things I need to do for them in the task list, right, before the onboarding call. So create a Notion workspace. I'm not sure how well you can see this. Let me work this better. Okay, so create a Notion workspace, create story posting schedule, create Zapier folder for automations, collect the lead list of leads that she already has in like a CSV file, create a Go High Level sub account, create a Discord group for her for all the notifications, create a Google Drive folder for her, and start recruiting for DM setting and all that stuff, right? So that's all the stuff that I do before like an onboarding call, whenever I have one, because it's just easier to do it before than after, if I'm being completely honest. So we have that all sorted, so that by the time we have the onboarding call, I can just plug and play the stuff that I need to plug and play, and then we can just get started from there. And if you're wondering what I do on my onboarding calls, like when I'm actually on my onboarding calls, because my onboarding calls are actually quite long, because I use those to kind of get logged into everything, get access to all the stuff that I need to get access to. So I'll just walk through quickly what my onboarding calls look like. So I'm not sure how well you can see this, but essentially on my onboarding calls, the first thing that I always do is I get logged into each account that I need access to in order to essentially grow their coaching business, right? So get access to the Instagram account, Facebook account, Calendly account for appointment booking, Stripe account or any other payment processor that they use, MetaSuite, ManyChat, Fathom, and that is for recording calls, Zoom calls, right? DNS hoster, so that can be Cloudflare, whatever it is, Hostinger, whatever it is, any DNS hosting site or software that is for the domains, for the landing pages, so on and so forth. If they don't have a domain, I get them set up on a subdomain of my own domain, which is hfbranding.net. So they have like a sub account basically, or subdomain under my main domain. It's just a lot easier that way if they don't have their own domain already. Then after that, yeah, logged into all the accounts. Then I pull up the financial modeling template that I have for the social funnel, which is what I like to call it, right? So we basically map out the entire like plan that we need to, go through, or the, in the actual numbers that we need to hit for, my client to make the money that they want to make. So for example, with Annette, her goal is to make 8 to 10,000 Australian dollars a month consistently with her coaching business. So that would be in profit, and we always look at personal profit, right? As you can see here, we have a lot of different stuff. We have net profit, or net cash collected, I like to call it net cash collected. So the cash collected after ad spend. These numbers are for another client, but after revenue share, after commissions, after payroll, all that stuff, that would be personal profit. So we always want to be looking at how we can optimize for the goal in terms of personal profit, not revenue. Because when you're scaling a coaching business, there are a lot of things that can come into play, right? Software, team, ads, all that stuff, right? So we look at the exact numbers that we need to hit in order to get the exact personal profit, take home profit figure that my client wants. And then basically everything that we do from then on out is geared towards them hitting that number, essentially, right? So that's the reason why we have that as well. Brand color palette, that's the next thing that we go over. So I always like to keep everything in terms of landing pages, in terms of video content, like color schemes, like everything should be on brand. People should associate a certain color or certain vibe with your personal brand, right? So the next thing that we go over after that is a Notion folder. So for all my clients, I have Notion workspaces for them to contain all of the documents that we need to actually run the operation. The next thing that I do is go through the mindset videos. Now these are mindset videos that I've personally made. These are videos that other people have made and probably are way more qualified to talk about mindset than I am. So I just refer them to those videos, and believe me, like, these videos are part of the reason why I've been able to scale so many coaches to the level that they're at, right? And consistently be able to get to that point, because I have the right mindset towards it. Even during times of uncertainty with these businesses, we were able to bounce back simply because of having the right mindset. And people think about mindset and it's like, oh, like this woo-wah wishy-washy stuff, but genuinely it's like the most important thing as a business owner to have the right mindset. Is the most important thing, right? So yeah, you want to have the right mindset going into it. So I go through the certain content pieces that they can watch and rewatch, right? So the next thing after that is we walk through, typo there, we walk through, not Eorc or whatever it said, we walk through the content pipeline and task list. So essentially the content pipeline, I'll just pull up my one, the one that I have for myself. So each client of mine has a content pipeline, and essentially we put all the short form content and all the long form content inside of here, right? So all the scripts that we have for long form content is here. It's going to be in the to do section, okay? And then when they're doing the content, they put it in doing, and then once it's finished, once it's edited, it's in done. And we can also put them in backlog as well if we want to like reuse them at certain points. But yeah, these are where the scripts go for the long form and short form content. And for the stories, I'm going to pull up Anya's one because it's pretty good. So we have, for stories is a little bit different. We have it in like a content calendar, right? So the first day on Monday, ask me anything, ICP aligned, story poll, client win breakdown, deep dive on YouTube, objection handling, client results dump, and then results recap and story sequence, right? So, every day there's like a natural day in the life story or behind the scene post as well. So this is really good for organizing yourself and, understanding what stories you need to post every day, because I encourage all my clients to post stories every single day. Just keep themselves top of mind in their viewers' heads, right? Because the way I see it, stories, IG stories in particular, are like email newsletters now. It's a good way for people to get a taste of your world, you as a person, that so on and so forth, right? So yeah, I really like having my clients do IG stories daily. So that's another thing. So the next thing after the content pipeline and task list, I should mention as well, with the task list, is essentially like the content pipeline, but for specific tasks. Like for me, for example, I have my own task list, and it basically is just like an easy way for me to know exactly what I need to do. As soon as like a idea comes up in my head for something that I need to do, I put it in my task list so it's there, and then when every day I come through into my task list and look at exactly what I need to do, right? As you can see here, I always have work on refining service delivery system. That's always been here, because it's always something that I'm doing. I'm always refining my service, always refining my my processes to make them as good as possible, right? So the next thing is, so once we've gone through the content pipeline and task list, the next thing that we do is we review the Go High Level account that we have made for my client. So it's going to load, give it a second. So for every client that I have a separate Go High Level sub account. So for example, with Anya here, we have a sub account, and basically all I use Go High Level for is for the main two things I use Go High Level for are lead organization, if we have lead lists for certain clients, right? For most clients, they usually don't have a lead list, but for some clients they do, so we use it for lead organization. Let me just show you in the opportunities, right? So for example, here with Anya, we have lead organization, all that stuff, right? And in sites, we also have for the landing pages that we use, right? So for example, like thank you pages, are all thank you pages, call booking pages, like they're all managed and they're all hosted inside of Go High Level, right? So landing pages, onboarding pages, thank you pages, whatever it is, they're all hosted inside of Go High Level, right? Some people like using ClickFunnels. I personally feel like Go High Level is the best. Not because it's the best website builder. By all means, I think ClickFunnels is probably a better funnel builder than Go High Levels. Go High Levels is like a close second to me, at least from what I've tried. But the reason why I use Go High Level is because it's all in one place. It's just so much easier that way, to have the domains, the emails, the lead management, everything, payments, all that in one place. It's just so much easier. But yeah, so we review the Go High Level account, and then the next thing that we do on the onboarding calls is review the Discord server. So Discord for us, some people use Slack, but we use Discord. And essentially for Discord, what we use it for is like notifications, right? So for example, when someone books a call, I'll use Anya's one of my clients as an example. So whenever someone books a call, right, we get notifications. Whenever someone pays a Stripe invoice or payment link, right, we get a notification, right? Whenever someone books an onboarding call, we get a notification. Whenever someone fills in an onboarding form, we get a notification. This is quite a new automation that I've implemented. So essentially, when someone books in an onboarding call, we get basically a PDF file of their onboarding form responses. And yeah, it's just an easy way to organize everything. Whenever someone cancels their subscription, right? Or if we have a subscription, or if we have like a payment plan in place, if someone cancels it, we find out. If there's a failed payment, then we get notified as well, right? So all this stuff is really important every single day. And then also we have like stuff for, you know, end of day reports for appointment setters, so on and so forth. So yeah, that's the next thing. The next thing that we do after that is we review the Zapier automations. So that's basically the stuff, like all the stuff that you see on Discord, all of that stuff is pretty much powered by Zapier. So yeah, that's pretty much the same thing. Then we do collecting client testimonials, right? So any client testimonials that our clients have, if they don't have client testimonials, that's totally fine. But if they do have client testimonials, we collect those, and then we get them to apply for meta verification. It's very important that if you want to do, you know, online coaching and take it seriously, that you apply for meta verification. Because when it comes to like reaching out to new followers, when it comes to reaching out to new likers, commenters, whatever, if you have a blue tick, they're so much more likely to actually respond. Okay, so that's a must for us. And then we also set up a day and time to do weekly calls. So I don't typically like follow a set structure with weekly calls. I don't even do weekly calls like every week with most of my clients. I don't think it's needed, to be honest with you. But it's good to know a day in the week that is pretty much free for either one of us to kind of deep dive into something or kind of review something, right, during the week, right? It's good. It's a good thing to know. And then after that, we set up a day. Hold on. Before that, we talk about the appointment setter that I'm reviewing and you know, the setters that I'm thinking about bringing on for their offer, right? Because we do DM appointment setting, and we like to have DM appointment setters come in for the clients that we work with, what are not done for you service. Because yeah, like when it comes to us specifically, typically, right, though, if you aren't working with us, right, if you aren't working with the hands-free branding team, typically we would advise you to do appointment setting yourself, because most people don't know how to train appointment setters. They don't know how to find the right ones. Us, on the other hand, we actually have this all set up already, right? Tested and tried a bunch of different appointment setting scripts, training frameworks, you know, a bunch of different places to get appointment setters. We have that all set up already. So it's just so much easier to get an appointment setter, outsource that as soon as possible, because appointment setting is one of the highest leverage or highest ROI activities that you can have in your coaching business, but it's one of the most tedious, and it's one that can get really tedious really quickly. So you always like to get appointment setters onboarded, and it's usually at no extra cost to the client, because the appointment setters that we onboard are always like, you know, commission only, and we can take complete beginners as well. Because our training for appointment setters is that good, to where we can take someone that has no experience appointment setting before, and they can literally go from no appointment setting to being a valuable member of your team within a couple of weeks. So yeah, then after that, we set up a market research call to kind of set up our ICP, make sure that's clear, make sure that we're targeting the right people, 2 or 3 days after that onboarding call. And then after that onboarding call, after we've done that, we just wait for that, and then after the onboarding call, we end it. And then I just get started into setting up everything, the Calendly, the Go High Level backend stuff, setting up the Zapier automations, testing everything, making sure that everything is synced, everything is aligned. And yeah, I can document that as well, to be fair, but I'll say that is pretty much it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. At least I wanted to just give you an insight as to the first bit, or the first part, when someone joins the hands-free branding team, whether it's, you know, done for you, where we're, you know, consulting you guys and not necessarily working done for you. We just give you the tools and you're able to do it yourself, right? And we also coach you throughout that time, whether it's that or us literally working as a growth partner and doing our whole done for you service, you know, creating your landing pages, everything like that ourselves, and, you know, managing everything, managing your team, scaling your business, managing your ads, all that stuff. So basically, you know, as soon as someone watches a video of yours up until they become a client, we manage the entire thing. So yeah, we have those two things that we do with people, you know, coaching them, consulting them, all that stuff, but giving them the tools that have helped our done for you clients make the money that they want to make. Or for certain people, you know, we have our done for you service where it's like we work with them intensely, hands-on, pretty much building the entire system for them and managing it for them, scaling it for them, so they don't really have to lift a finger unless it's to, like, you know, work with their clients in their programs. But yeah, that's a good insight as to what happens when someone joins and then they've booked their onboarding call, what happens before the onboarding call. So yeah, the next videos I'm going to be talking about, you know, what happens after the onboarding call, showing exactly what I do from there, and then you know, scaling the operation as well, starting everything up. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. Take care.